Once every generation, there comes an event that alters how we perceive our world. That changes our expectations of what is possible. This is not really one of those events. But hey, Toxic Radio has a brand new studio, and that fucking rocks. So join us in celebrating our excellent new home. Toxic Radio. Awesomer than ever before. What? That is so a word.
Enjoying all that Toxic Radio has to offer? Well, make sure you like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be the first to find out about ticket giveaways, amazing guests, awesome contests, and Toxic Radio events. Just search Toxic Radio Live, all one word, and press that little button. Every time you do, someone here at Toxic Radio will get their wings.
Yay!
Well, not really.
Aww.
But we will get a warm, fuzzy feeling in our tummies. But then again, that just might be the beer. Anyway, like and follow us, and we will see you out there on the interwebs.
In the beginning, there was radio.
The radio is one of the outstanding developments of the 20th century.
A radio transmitter was used for large-scale public entertainment.
Then came computers.
You gotta keep up with the times, you know.
Imprints of man's never-ending path of progress.
Back in my day, we didn't have no fancy computer boxes to use.
Shall we play a game?
The internet tied it all together.
The internet gave us a whole world of exciting new possibilities.
A bright new era dawning. A new dimension in communications.
It is possible to establish communication instantaneously from any place at any time.
And now it's the 21st century, and we've made it all toxic.
Hold on to your hats. Okay, we're ready to roll.
This is Toxic Radio. Don't play it safe. Play it toxic.
That's what I'm talking about.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of the Deep Brunch. That's right. Brunch usually sucks because that means you have to get up a little bit earlier than you want to, but we're going to try to deliver here for you and get your weekend started off right with the Godfrey, TheGodfrey, as you can see on the bottom there. If you are watching live on Facebook on the Taking You Deep with Godfrey feed on the page, share it, like it, or you can catch it on toxicradio.net. I believe there's a video option on the website. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. And www.youtube.com/playtoxic. So, with all that being said, welcome. Got plenty to talk about. It's like a new day for me. I have a new day job, and I don't work weekends anymore. So, that's kind of why we're here this morning. We're going to keep our regular show time, but for today and next week, we're probably Saturday, Friday, something like that. We'll figure it out because my training for my new job, I'm on Central Standard Time, so that kind of fucks me up. But that's only temporary. And the great thing is we get to hang out Saturday morning. So if you're taking your kid to his Little League game right now, turn up the radio and let him become a man or a woman because it's not safe for work. Got to hang out last night, had some unexpected drinking, and I wouldn't change it for anything. It was awesome, but, you know, a lot of adjustments going on. It's pretty much how the morning went for me right there. So I was, I'm out in this new world that's Saturday and not working because for years, at least 17, 15 years, I was working on Saturdays, and I'm like, why the fuck is everybody so lazy and wants to stay in the drive-thru? Like, I go to Dunkin' Donuts, and I went to the one near my house. I was like, I'm not waiting in the drive-thru that long. So I kept going to the studio. And I get the one near here. Wawa was closed, believe it or not. Fucking Wawa was closed. The Wawa near here was closed. Like, I was shocked. Have you ever seen a Wawa closed, Mike?
I mean, very rarely. If something went wrong in the kitchen or something got spilled, or if they got somebody had a crime there, but you almost never see them close. I mean, only on and also holidays and for COVID they were closing a little bit.
Well, here's the thing about that. On a Saturday, first there's a bagel place around here. We got to talk to those guys because they must either have it going on or everybody was going there instead because there was no Dunkin' Donuts. Then I was elated because I was like, where's our Dunkin' Donuts? And GPS wouldn't take me to Glendora. I was like, fuck that, too far. Turned around and there's one up the street from here, which is great. But we could put up a camera probably and watch all the disappointment in people's faces when they go to Wawa. It's completely dark because you don't look at the lights to be on a Wawa because you say, it's open, it's Wawa, right? So you pull the door, people are like, huh? They look around, they're like, is that thing closed? Like, it doesn't matter who. I heard people in the parking lot do like loud groans like, what? Sharkies, that's what it's called. Yeah, people were lined up at Sharkies. So I guess they're really good. And, I guess Sharkies only allowed so many people in at a time because there was like a parking lot party going on out there. So, and there was a local fire station. We're selling hoagies. I almost went with the hoagie option for breakfast.
You had a lot of options this morning. Sir.
I know.
I mean, besides Wawa.
But here's the thing about lines. I've traveled all over the world, and I've noticed no matter where you go, people love to be in fucking line all the time, and it annoys me. They do. I'll give you an example. I went to the Dunkin' Donuts up the street. It's wrapped around the block, the one near the police station a little bit farther up, and everybody's in a drive-thru, right? I go inside. There's like one person in line. Now, of course, this person in line decided, it's Saturday. It's kind of busy. I want a free sample of the matcha tea. I'm sitting there. I'm like, what's this bitch? And she looked behind me because she felt guilty because they bring up this little thimble cup so she could taste it and be like, you know what? I want it. How about you just take a gamble on the $2 you're spending, motherfucker, and just buy it? Instead of saying, you know what, let me get a look. This isn't sample Saturday. It's busy in here. People got to go. So, which brings me to the thing. If you ever been at a rush, going into Dunkin' Donuts, they're taking a little bit to get your food ready. They say, I've done this once or twice. Don't judge me. They say something's ready, and I just grab a bag and go out because they just hand it to you. And I'm batting 500. One time it wasn't my order, but it was what I wanted. And then the other time it was some weird like falafel bagel shit, and I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna eat this for energy. But I mean, it was my fault. I took it, But they were a lot quicker in there, and I made a mental note of the last car in the drive-thru to see if I won. It didn't even get to order their food yet, and I'm watching people like from the inside. They're in the drive-thru getting in, and they're mixing their drink like this, taking their sweet-ass time. Yeah. And that's not, folks, let's not get it confused. It's not because of social distancing. It's not because they're not open on the inside. I guess some people are conditioned now to be like, well, you're not open on the inside, so we won't go in. But, I mean, people were figuring it out, and I was in and out in about 5 minutes. And I'm like, all right, why? And every establishment I went to, people just love waiting in line. And my point is there's another option. The option is don't wait in line and go inside. Get your fat ass out of the car and go in there. And listen, I want to burn extra calories because I got some junk in the trunk. And
the longest line I've ever seen, and it really does boggle my mind at how long and how much people will wait in line for just coffee, because it's the longest lines is coffee places. But Starbucks will literally have a line going out to the main road and down the main road.
And they're charging you 4 times the rate for the same thing.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. Not going to lie, pretty freaky. Well, Brad says, hearing a live voice while he's working. Well, Brad, I'm glad that you're letting us pump into your workplace. That's pretty awesome. My dick hurts. Did they hear that? And I'm just joking. But thank you, Brad. Thank you, everybody who's listening. People asked me yesterday, like, what's going on with the show, or Thursday, and I just got caught up in the new job, and Laura thankfully hit me up and said, people are asking. I was like, I appreciate that, and I appreciate people actually asking. And so, we definitely had to make it happen.
You're getting a good amount of turnout for a Saturday afternoon.
I know, man. I'm touched.
Show. I'm just going to say that.
I'm really, really
good turnout.
Yeah. So, guys, listen. Waiting in line. I was in England one time, and England's weird. They have like I went to this mall, huge mall called Westfield, I believe, and went in there. And my buddy's like, mate, see, everybody likes to wait in the queue. Watch. And the queue is the line in England, And I'm in the car with him. And sure enough, there's a lane with nobody in it right next to that line. And he just drove right through and we parked. So I don't know what it is. People just like to be herded like sheep or cows taken to the slaughter. They're like, all right, we're just going to go in line and everybody else is. I'm just going to sit here. And you sit there forever. Like, you just wasted 10 minutes of your life. And you could have just said, hey, I'm going to get my ass out of my car.
I think waiting in line just makes people feel like they're a part of something. Makes them feel like the part of a crowd that's anticipating something awesome.
I want to hide like a sign behind like the drive-through ordering thing that says this way for explosive diarrhea, and just see if people toxic. You're gonna have someone sent toxic HR rep in the house. Let me tell you something. You're gonna have a lot of fucking paperwork on your desk. So I hope you're ready to write and do a lot of cringeworthy interviews and investigations. Because my God, I can't even begin to tell you where you would have to start. Coincidentally, I feel fresh in knowing that because I had to take a sexual harassment 1 hour plus course yesterday for my new job, and man, it's getting expansive more and more every year. Hey, listen, interesting. But anyway, just saying, screw that waiting in line. But the other question I want to have for you guys, which is something that is an annoyance to everyone, is your car auto warranty expired? Has it expired? Has someone actually called about it? Is that possible?
Jesus Christ. If I get one of those phone calls, I'm going to smash my phone against the wall.
Ooh, longest line I ever waited in was White Castle after they opened one near my high school after Harold and Kumar came out. So, I believe that, and I have made a trek for White Castle before that movie. I used to live in Jersey, and even when I lived in PA, the closest one was Toms River, New Jersey to me. And that's where I would go to get my White Castle. And White Castle is one of those things that taste awesome. But you eat it, and you think you want more than you really should because the burgers are small. And then you say to yourself, now I know why I don't eat White Castle that often the next day. And, yeah, especially after the bar. Every White Castle is 24 hours, I believe, so. Have you been to a White Castle, Mike?
It's been friggin' forever since I've been to a White Castle, but god damn are their little tiny burgers delicious.
Yeah. And it's like a portion fuller because you're like, oh, let me get the Crave case. I could eat a case of these things. I guarantee you might if you eat a whole Crave case, you think it's smaller than it is, and it'll be a man versus food type of challenge.
Let's do it.
Oh God.
Let's do it.
All right, we're gonna do it.
Let's do it. Let's do a Crave case race with the Crave case.
I'm not doing it.
What do you mean?
Because I don't want to be sick the next day.
What do you mean be sick? Who's going to make you sick?
Eating that kind of shit that much will make you sick.
Oh, come on. We can make it happen.
And so back to the car warranty. They're actually doing something about that. It's called car warranty scam robocalls. And here's why you get so many and how to stop them. I wonder if these guys know how to stop them. But so the other day I called a friend. This is on usatoday.com. After a few rings, her old school answer machine answered. Hello, I said. I'm calling today with an important news about your car's extended warranty. So, first off, why do you have an old school answer machine? But she picked up immediately and yelled, stop calling me. I had a good laugh, and it's no wonder that set her off. Auto warranty scam calls have been the most irritating and intrusive in the history of telemarketing. I think we can all agree right there, right? I mean, it's a fucking goddamn clown show. Every time, these guys are spoofing numbers, and if you don't know what spoofing a number means, it's basically you're calling from a number that's not yours. Sometimes they'll spoof a number that is a similar or numerical pattern to what you already have. So instinctually, your brain's like, oh, I must know them because it's similar to my number, but you really don't. Have you ever fallen for that one, Mike? I know I have.
Oh, yeah. They used to have apps on the App Store that allowed you to do this very easily.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was a lot of fun. You spoof your friends. But I do like with today's phones, though, that they actually tell you this is a spam risk and all that kind of shit.
The best phone out there to have for this is an Android phone, and it's a Google phone because they have software built in there. Now, you have to watch because sometimes it's going to take phones. I have a Google Pixel 5. It's going to take calls and put them in your spam bucket that they can't. You got to look at it like email, and you can hit a button that says, as it's ringing, screen call, and it will screen it and it'll say, "Hi, this caller is screening your call," and they're gonna hang up 9 times out of 10 because it's either it's a robocall or they don't want to do it. But
and you don't answer the phone, or do you answer it and fuck with them?
I try to, but when it's recorded, they hang up. Like I like to say, I will fuck with them, yeah. And I try to call back their numbers because I'll do it live on air, but they never work. So they want to bother you for all the money, but you can't fuck with them back. They're a bunch of fucking passive aggressive assholes. So, she's yelling at the phone, and she said, "You don't have to put up with robocalls. You might even be able to get compensated for receiving robocalls." Really? We'll see about that. Here are 5 proven methods to make robocalls stop for good. 3 covers how to report robocalls and get compensated. Ooh, I want to know. Maybe we can get rich off this. Doubt it. Scam texts are a real pain too. So you can also, this article I'll post, and it'll tell you how to do it. I'll post it to Taking It Deep. You can post this for me, Mike, if I send you a link, right, to the thing. So I'll send it to Mike, and he'll post it for you. A lot of good, useful information in there. And you'll see, you can maybe follow along or just use it to reference it later. If the internet wasn't so slow here, I would have had it to you guys by now.
Thank you, Comcast.
Yeah. Monopoly. T-Mobile's coming out with a 5G home internet service that's completely wireless, by the way.
What?
Yep, they just launched it the other day. So we'll see. Maybe that creates some competition. Yeah, the fucking thing won't show up. Whatever. I'll send it later on. Gee, right. I'm just going to put it in a goddamn chat. Unbelievable. Anyway, so back to the article. How do you get away with call warranty scams? The scam isn't new, but it's reached new heights, as we all know. The FCC, Federal Communications Commission, says auto warranty robocalls were the top call complaint filed by consumers in 2020, and the trend is continuing this year. You can bet these crooks are taking home a ton of money, or they wouldn't use this tactic. So first off, I got to tell you this. I came from the auto industry. Buying an auto warranty over the phone is very risky in general. People don't feel good about warranties from a dealership. Now, I'm going to give you a tip here. I don't like talking about selling cars because I did it for 9 years and I left it for a reason. Great industry, great people, teach you a lot. There's a lot of positives about it. But if I have a friend that wants to buy an auto warranty that's a family, here's your number one rule. If you're buying it from a dealership and they have the opportunity to do it, buy an auto warranty that is connected to the manufacturer. Okay? Now, what do I mean by that? If you buy a Toyota and buy a Toyota warranty, that's obvious, right? Has to say who backs the warranty. Toyota, or is it your own in-house warranty? That's what you're going to ask them, okay? Now, I have a Mustang. I bought it from my dealership. I have a Toyota warranty on my Mustang. You're like, well, but it's a Ford. Why would I have that? Well, that's how it works. If you buy it off their lot, which it was a Toyota used lot, you can get a Toyota warranty. And you can take it to any Ford dealer you want to. But Toyota still backs it. Very reputable company. One of the best warranties I've seen out there. Now, that being said, move away from the dealership because at least you can go somewhere and stand in front of someone and be like, hey, this is the bullshit you sold me. Over the phone, you're going to buy a warranty? Someone's got to be doing this shit because they wouldn't be spending money even doing these robocalls. I mean, it's like the Spice Girls. Like, no one wants to admit they listened to it, but someone bought that damn album. Mike? So, just a little tip there. I don't want to go off a tangent about it, just to help you guys out financially. Also, another thing you need to know is warranties are completely refundable. You can cancel them at any time if there's a term left on it. And if you get in an accident, or you just trade a car in, you can get money back for the remainder of your warranty. So, some good advice there to make you some extra dollars. All right. And my fucking computer, man, I swear to God, it's got to be. No, it's fixed now. Never mind. Anyway, so back to that. So, while ignoring the National Do Not Call Registry, scammers are trying to sell you a 3,000 or so car warranty. They lead you to believe they're extending your current warranty. This is deceptive and, yes, illegal. To make things even more frustrating, you can simply block the calls. The system spoofs area codes and numbers so that you're never called by the same number twice. If you wait for the operator and ask to be taken off the call list, it's bad news. You have just verified to the robocaller that you're a real person. That means even more calls. Right. So, surprise, surprise, when you say you want to be taken off the list, they're not taking you off the list. They're putting you on the list. So, Remember, you're not talking to some individuals here with, a wealth of integrity, if you will. So, what if you take the bait and buy a plan? You probably won't realize it was all a scam until weeks or months later when you have a problem with your car and realize that your warranty doesn't exist. Understand that auto warranties in general have very specific language in them. Before you sign an auto warranty, understand you need to know what it does and does not cover. All good auto warranties cover everything except the wearable parts. The definition you need to find out is what is wearable according to that agreement that you're signing. Okay? That's key there. Now, because you are signing a legal document, so they are crossing their T's and dotting their I's, and you have to too. So, what can you do? Your best move when you realize it's a robocall is to hang up the phone immediately. There is one thing you should never do. Press any numbers on your phone during the call. Many of these calls are automated and ask you to press a button to continue or opt out. Don't do it. Again, this confirms you have a working number and you will receive even more calls. From a guy that's been in the sales industry, what that is saying that this is a valid lead. You can contact someone. You have an opportunity to sell them something. That's what that is. People pay for this, meaning those companies, so they can contact you. So here's a few more steps you could take. Protect personal information. Never hand over details like your social security number, credit card information, driver's license number, or bank account. That should be, common sense, but if you need to hear that, do it. Double check. If you believe you're talking to someone from the dealership you purchased your vehicle, hang up and call back using the number you verify on the company's website. No, most dealerships are not going to call you secondhand after you bought a car to sell you a warranty. That's unusual. There probably are some out there to do it because a lot of times you're either paying for the car whole cash and it's in that deal, or it's in your financing deal, meaning it's in your payment. So it's very unusual for a car dealership to call and sell you a warranty post-purchase. Happens, but very rare. I would say it would probably happen 1 to 2% of the time. Very rare. So, don't press any buttons, like I said, and this is an article. Pressing buttons during a robocall can lead to more. Just hang up the phone. What I like to do if they get on the phone is blow a whistle on it, say really rude and fucked up shit, and mess with people. It's fun. You should try it. Again, they don't want to waste time because they're busy trying to scam people. So, have you ever gotten that IRS call, Mike?
I've gotten ones where they talk about my social security number. Is that the one you're talking about?
They told you your social?
No. They say that something happened with your social security number or some kind of illegal action, and that your social security number is in danger or some crazy shit. I've gotten that one.
So
I've had. I know that the IRS one where they say that you owe something to the IRS. The people doing it were spoofing it with my number. So I would have individuals calling me saying, hey, I just got a phone call saying that I owe money to the IRS or something. And they were freaked out. And I was like, it's a scam. And they used my number. That's about it.
Yeah. I always say when I set up, like, my social security number is 69, 69, 69, 69. And so
you are a grown ass man.
Yeah. Well, guess what? They deserve that. Or, 88 or 555. They're like, 555. I'm like, yeah, this guy really doesn't know. So it's fun to mess with those people if you know what you're doing. So, it's like getting into a fight with someone in mixed martial arts. You better know martial arts as well or they're going to kick your ass. So I know how to do their kung fu back to them. So fuck those guys. So use your phone's built-in features. On Android, go to settings, then tap block numbers after they call. Or you could go to settings in your phone on the iPhone and scroll down and select silence unknown callers. So there are some options out there. Sometimes they know how to get past that. So you can file a complaint. It takes a couple minutes, but it's going to help the FCC go after these guys. And hey, you pay tax dollars to help these people do that, so you might as well use that as a tool. So that being said, that's all we got about robocalls. But I got to tell you, they are probably one of the most annoying things out there. I mean, who likes getting and it's always annoying. It's like, oh, you're in the fucking shower and you're finishing up and washing the soap off, and then you got to run out because you think it's an important call, right? It tells you your number over their Bluetooth, and like you're half soaking wet, half dressed. I don't know if you have a kid, maybe you're feeding a kid. If you're Mike, you're breastfeeding a kid, and things of that nature. But it's very inconvenient. So, like I said, I'll post this to the chat for you guys so that way
I just want to know that the individuals that sit around in a circle trying to figure out ways to make money, and one of them just goes, we can start scamming people, like over robocall. Like, it boggles my mind that a group of people look at each other and go, brilliant, let's do it.
Yeah, it has to be working, though, because they wouldn't be doing it. If there's effort behind it and on that grain of a scale, someone has to be falling for this.
And by the way, to Steph in the chat room, I will stop breastfeeding when people want to stop being fed.
That's fair. If there's hungry mouths out there, he's only helping the world.
What am I supposed to do?
He's only helping the world. I mean, come on, guys. Seriously. Let Mike breastfeed.
Yes. Free the Mike boob. That's what we want to do. Free the Mike boob.
I mean, if I could go into detail about some of the conversations last night we had, you wouldn't be surprised. But I won't do that. But if I did, holy shit. Steph, your head might explode. So, because, yeah, you know, do you like poop in and out? You know, hey, she is a girl, she's not a girl. You know, I don't know. It's just, it's a man, it's not a man. Oh, my God. I don't know. I was like, what's going on here? Anyway, it was a fun time, though. Mike, I don't know if you guys know this. Toxic Mike just had a birthday, and he just turned 32.
Yes. So. 32. I'm very happy about it. Thank you all for your birthday wishes. Yes.
32.
You know, I just realized when you said that, because I'm so busy, and I want to know if this is a social faux pas, as they say.
A faux pas.
A lot of people on Facebook wished me a happy birthday. But I have not had a chance to sit down and go through all of them and thank everybody individually, or even do a post to thank everybody. Is that wrong? Am I a wrong person for not doing that?
Some would say you might lack a little bit of class or couth when it comes to that. But if you're busy, you know, you just erase that and correct it by saying, hey, guys, I've been really busy, but I'd like to thank everybody for the birthday love. You can just put a general message on your wall. I like to thank it individually. Because I like to get above 100 birthday wishes on my birthday. So I want to encourage people, you know, and acknowledge their separate love for me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Personally, if I know you and I like you, I'll either put it on your wall at the very least, but if I do, I'll contact you outside. Like, I like Mike.
Text message.
I texted Mike. I was like, happy birthday. And
yes, he did.
Yeah, and so.
With a picture.
Did I?
It was a butt pic.
No, I didn't. You liar. That was a different Matt. You must be getting a lot of butt pics from guys.
But no, so right here.
By the way, Mike's not 32, but I won't reveal his age.
I'm going to use your show to say thank you to everybody out there that wished me a happy birthday on Facebook. So now if anybody says I didn't thank them, now I'll tell them to come watch the show.
Where'd half our viewers go? As soon as we started talking about your birthday, they left. This is fucked up.
Like, fuck this old guy.
like, fuck him. I guess people got to the Little League game to drop off their kids. You know, they got me on Bluetooth, and I'm like, butt pick. Hey, what's up? Can you play first base today? Cool. You know, but Saturday is a whole new world. Like, you see people out there, they're taking their time. They're like, yeah, you know, I have all the time in the world. Bum-de-dum-de-dum. They all look like fucking Muppet babies in their cars. That's what I envision. Like, bouncing up and down, you know, hey. I don't know. So it's a whole new world out there. And, yeah. Anyway, I just saw Brad threw me off. Godfrey's breaking the fourth wall of the car industry. I could do that. I could. But I have a lot of friends there still, so there are a lot of hard-working people. Being in the car industry is definitely not for the weak. If you could survive it, you could probably do almost anything because it is definitely in the gauntlet of sales. It's not easy. You can make a lot of money, but it is not for the weak. So, yeah. You have to make a birthday wish Facebook official. He is kind of right. So, basically, Brad is saying you're a piece of shit for not acknowledging it.
I guess I am. I mean, I've never claimed to be good at any of this social media stuff, and I'm a Facebook piece of shit. I'm not a real world piece of shit.
What he's saying is you like cocks.
I'm a Facebook piece of shit.
Yeah, Facebook piece of
Please
shit.
no dick pics for my birthday.
What he means is to say, that's a passive-aggressive way of saying, please, send me all your rooster pics. Please, please, please do it. Please do it. Mike loves it.
Have you ever had that? Nude pictures on your birthday? Guy or girl?
No guys.
Okay.
The only guy I know that would send me a nude pic would be you.
Okay. Fair. It's fair.
But you never did that on my birthday thing.
But you've had females that do it.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Girlfriends or friends or
girlfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of like they send me naked pics in general. Like, hey, what's
so
up?
a happy birthday one isn't anything special.
Hey, here's this T-shirt you bought from me. Just wearing a T-shirt. That's fun. I'm like, ooh, very nice. Or the one I used to get all the time because I had to work Saturdays was like, oh, I'm here in bed on Saturday, and they would send me a half naked picture, and I'm like, oh, that's great. Maybe thanks.
It never gets old too when girls send naked pictures. It no matter how many times you've seen it, no matter how many different ways they've sent it, it always puts a smile on your face.
We are an equal opportunity show, so if you are a gentleman that fancies gentlemen, it could never get old when a guy sends you a picture, or you could fancy both, or you could be a woman who likes women. Naked is naked.
That's the name of this episode. Naked is naked.
Yeah. So we have an update too from a story. I don't know if you guys remember this. We were talking about the serial stowaway Marilyn Hartman, and they caught up with her and explained how she got past airport security. Now, if you guys are looking at me like, oh, why the fuck is Matt looking at her? Because I'm kind of looking at my phone while I read it, but you can't see it. So for nearly 20 years, I don't know, you remember me talking about this lady, right, Mike? She got past airport security.
Yeah, you talked about this, last week or 2 weeks ago?
For nearly 20 years, Marilyn Hartman baffled everyone. In a post-9/11 world, she flew the world over. She never had a ticket. She became America's serial stowaway. The one thing she hasn't done since her latest successful overseas flight is talk about it in depth. How? Why? Will she do it again? She had an all-encompassing interview exclusively with CBS 2 investigator Brad Edwards, who believes is out of Chicago. Marilyn Hartman reflected on the moniker she's best known for, the serial stowaway. I don't mind if people say she's nuts, because when I look at it objectively, this is Brad, that's how I see it, craziness. I'm purposely reminded a mystery because of the crazy factor. So, over the years, he's covered Hartman's travels. So, Bradford, I don't care at all if someone calls me crazy. I mean, this story is crazy, she said, that meaning Marilyn Hartman. So, going through this interview, and, he called her. So, and, she goes, Hartman says, I really appreciate you reaching out to me. That was a very nice letter and everything, and I like your reporting as well. I've given this a lot of thought, and I'm willing to do this, meaning talk about it. Can I record this call? He goes, because they're on the phone. I guess COVID, they didn't want to meet in person. She's older. You definitely can record it. That's fine, Hartman said. So, and it goes off. You could get the audio recorded, and I could post it if you don't go through it. But there's been, Marilyn said over here, said the one TSA agent has these reviewing people. But the dispatcher then asked the agent, can you keep an eye on her for me? Right? So, she was in the Cook County jail, all right? She wrote, she wanted to apologize. My mea culpa to law enforcement, including the TSA. It was not my intention to make their jobs more difficult. So she felt bad for it. So, the CBS investigators, through a series of sources, public records requests, Miss Hartman's recollections, and more, compiled a forensic accounting of her free rides. Here we go. Jacksonville, Seattle, Phoenix. She was in Philly. All right, man. She put us on the list. I like that. We gotta get the Philly one. Thank you, Marilyn, for making Philly famous. We appreciate you. Atlanta, Minneapolis, San Francisco, and this one baffles me. London. So she went fucking international and got a free international flight. And again, I'll post this in the chat or on the page, and it kind of it has a timeline from 2002 to present day, and it shows you all over where he went. So the first time I was able to get through I flew to Copenhagen. The second time I flew to Paris, so it's more than that. It wasn't until some 12 years later that she popped up on the radar of law enforcement. So that means she was flying for 12 years under the radar as a stowaway, like she was a hobo hopping on her freight train and getting free flights. I want to learn her ways because she's saving a lot of money here. Teach me your ways because she's not even doing a hard time. A judge warned her, don't do it again. He wagged the finger at her. What a stern judge you are. I guess maybe she seems unassuming because she's this older, lady, maybe, and he's like, oh, she can't be that harmful. So 7 months later, though, in April 2015 in Jacksonville, she appeared in court where her fate was sealed. Ms. Hartman has been determined by forensic psychologists to be incompetent to proceed. Do you think she's incompetent to proceed, Mike? I think
I'm sitting here when you're telling this story. First off, no, she's not. Second off, I want to know what other avenues her methods could work in, not just for airplanes. Like she's
this is James Bond type shit.
To be able to get to that level, I mean, I would imagine sneaking into a movie theater is like, child's play for her. But I wonder if her methods can work at concerts, at sporting events.
She must have like some mutant power where she turns to liquid and just goes under the door or something like that.
Like I would really like to take, if we ever had her on the show, I would ask her like,
oh, that'd be a dream.
What's next? What could you shoot for next?
We're gonna find out she's a serial pooper. Like her thing is just taking poops in airport bathrooms around the world, and that's her thing. We're gonna find out. She's gonna be like, yeah, that's what I really wanted to do it. But the article continues, very interesting. So, I know they keep emphasizing the mental illness. Law enforcement, Hartman says, would you like to have that in place? But laughs. No, I'm sorry. Hartman didn't say that. The interviewer said that, and then Hartman said, no, I'm pretty good, she said. I'm good at getting away with it. I'm like, wow. In April, per law enforcement documents, as early as January 2015, Hartman was on the trespass list. In April 2015, documents show she was known as a serial stowaway. In May 5th, 2015, she was considered a high security risk. And in July that year, a habitual stowaway. So how did she get away with taking so many flights for so long? Because that's the question you guys are asking. Stick with me here. This is like the beginning of... this story is like the beginning of what's that show you keep telling me to watch on Disney Plus that it's really slow in the beginning, Mike, and then it gets better? WandaVision. So we're getting past that WandaVision second episode right now that I haven't experienced yet, but I will. The thing I've got to tell you is I've never been able to board a plane by myself. I was always let through. Hartman revealed, I was able to go through the security line without a boarding pass. How does that fucking happen? You have to have a boarding pass to get through. I don't get it. So, and she's telling the truth because it's well documented by law enforcement, government, etc. The year prior to her latest arrest, her last success happened in January 2018. Reports obtained by CBS2 investigator says Hartman evaded the security process and a document, ticket check, and took a $3,428 flight to London on British Airways. By the way, phenomenal flight to British Airways. I've taken it. So good choice on her part, even in coach. So she had become omnipresent at TSA checkpoints with her picture at security checkpoints. She described to CBS News how she did it. I got by them. This is the thing. Then this is a direct quote. That is so crazy. By following someone, they would be carrying like a blue bag, she said. And the next thing I know, I get in a TSA line, and TSA lets me through, and they think I'm with the guy with the blue bag. And so she's looking. So for her to be able to repeat that over and over, that is just mind-boggling, says aviation and security expert Jeff Price. The genius of her mode of operation is in its simplicity. And I always say, sometimes it's the obvious that you don't notice because people are so trained that it's so normal, it's second nature, that it's right in front of your face, right? So it's the unsophisticated types of plans that are often most successful. Price, one assistant head of security at Denver International Airport and a professor for the Metropolitan State University of Denver, has written Practical Aviation Security, Predicting and Preventing Future Threats, considering the leading textbook on aviation security. Have we taken Marilyn Hartman I hate how people talk and they quote it because it just doesn't read right. But have we taken Marilyn Hartman what she did serious? Edwards asked. I don't think we have, answered Price. Edwards is the reporter. Price is the expert. In this TSA using Hartman's tactics as a training tool, we asked and we're told to put in a public records request for the information. We did, and we are still waiting for a response. They literally should have a curriculum designed around how she's able to get through security, and that should be taught to every transportation security officer out there, said Price. I actually know someone who works at the TSA. I should ask him about this. Marilyn Hartman looks like a grandmother. It makes you wonder, would the same type of courtesy be extended to a young man with olive skin or a mother with a hijab? No. Let's be real. You know it wouldn't be. Okay? And that is definitely a part that's playing into it. It's an older, grainy-looking white woman. You think it's Granny Smith or Tweety Bird's mom, and they're like unassuming. They're like, oh! It's called inherent bias, okay? Doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's just, when you soak in certain things from society, you just don't think about it. So, or do we need to think differently, we asked Price. We definitely need to think differently. See, she wouldn't have got past me, because if I'm the TSA guy, I'm fucking checking everyone. Because I know that people are going to prey on what you normally don't look for, or what you think is normal. So, we can't constantly be preparing for the last attack. The next attack will not look like that. And the next attacker, Edwards said, and the next attacker, exactly, Price said. So back to Marilyn Hartman and why she took all these flights, because we didn't get the why yet. When I took the plane around, I wasn't happy. I wasn't, I'm going here or there. I was actually in a depressed state of mind. Diagnosed bipolar shows she's bipolar. It wasn't a manic episode that set off the flight trigger. It was the opposite. As an example, in 2015, back-to-back days, July 3rd and 4th on one Midway, one O'Hare. Midway and O'Hare are really big airports, especially O'Hare. A lot of connecting flights in and out of there. It's in Chicago in the middle of the country. Similar clothes, same carry-on. So depressed, she admitted her desperation got her caught both times. In one phone conversation from jail, Edwards asked Hartman if she felt a flight or flight response and literally took a flight. She answered, that is literally what happened. She spoke later about her mental health. I'm bipolar, and this is something I've rejected for years. So, she was in denial about being bipolar. So depressed that it sounds like to me she was willing to take a risk that most people wouldn't take and just to go for it. Because that's part of it, too. You have to have some huevos here to try to pull it off. I mean, Mike, don't you think I'm right? Like, for you to just say, I'm going to try to get through behind the guy with the blue bag that is going through airport security, you have to have supreme confidence in what you're doing. Little plug there. Funky supreme contradiction. Sundays, whatever. Look it up. Anyway, fucking botched that one. But that being said, you have to have supreme confidence that it's going to work, because if you don't, you're probably going to get caught.
You have to believe it. You have to live it. You have to go in there with that confidence that you're supposed to be there. And it's not easy for anybody to do, but I mean, people talk all the time that if you go into any business, any establishment, almost any event, and if you walk with confidence and you walk with the look on your face that you're supposed to be there, most people won't question you. They just assume that that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
It'll get you a long way, not always all the way, but it'll get you a long distance to just walk the walk.
Yeah, I mean, if I saw her, I'd be like, she obviously needs a full cavity search. We're going to check this bitch for drugs. But she wrote, so they were writing back and forth, talking back and forth, and I'm not going to go word for word here because it is a little lengthy, but I'm just going to highlight the points for you. And, again, Edwards asked if she felt a flight or flight response and literally took a flight, and she said that's literally what happened. So, circling back, she spoke later about her mental health. She said, I'm bipolar, and this is something I rejected for years, I was telling you. So, Hartman wrote that she was born in 1951 at Jackson Park Hospital and told Edwards later about her family life. There was so much violence and mental illness in the household, so she's a product of her home environment. Her life alone, ill, not much of note until she took off. And so she had nothing to lose. In October 2019, when TSA last stopped her at O'Hare trying to take a flight again, she was already on probation for the 2018 flight to London. That's impressive. I mean, you're asked, at least by one count, 3 times for your boarding pass at a minimum. TSA, when you get to the desk where you board, and when you go into the plane, right? 3 times at least. So she evaded this 3 times. Right? So, yeah, I have a real tough judge on this case, she said. Judge, I hate this guy's name. His name looks like chimp ass. But I'm saying it wrong. I apologize, Your Honor. But it's CHIMPAS. So, is pissed at me for the situation which I found myself. So the judge is pissed. She's already been in custody for 500 plus days on the latest on charges of burglary, criminal trespassing, and probation violation. Details of a plea agreement. You know this judge is telling his friends about this story. He's like,
Oh, absolutely.
I can't fucking believe I have to throw this old lady in jail that's clapping her racers. So, details of a plea agreement announced early in March would drop the burglary charge and give Hartman 18 months probation with mental health counseling. A deal the judge didn't seem interested in accepting. Judge Chimpass said that at the hearing, I will not be giving her a third probation. In those several phone calls and letters with Edwards, Miss Hartman had a warmth about her, was contemplative, she wrote, of the inequities Jim Crow like in jail. Yeah, I don't know if I'm buying this on her part, saying it's Jim Crow like. So she's currently out of jail on electronic monitoring and on a steady diet of counseling and daily meds. Probably going to help her. I wouldn't be surprised if she went to like Build-A-Bear and put the goddamn bracelet on the bear and just put it in her house. So it tells you when it's been removed, I guess. I've never had. Mike, have you ever had an electronic device on your ankle?
Never. No.
Okay. I'm surprised. No, I'm just joking.
I've got one on my wrist, not on my ankle.
We've probably had people work here in the past who've had electronic devices.
Absolutely.
Or
100%.
that have electronic devices now.
People that have asked to call in and not come into the studio, sure.
Yeah. I don't know who that is. Now I got to think. But anyway, in the end of the story, in October in 19, when TSA last stopped her at O'Hare trying to take a flight again, she was already on probation, I was saying, and she was already in custody for 500 days. So, you know, Edward said to her, so you've had a hell of a life. Yeah, it has been, she answered. He asked, why would you consider yourself fascinating? Yes, I would under the circumstances, and I downplay it. Brad, I don't find myself, she said, fascinating. She just said it. So, and Hartman never did an in-depth interview, but this is why this was notable, until I was confident that I wouldn't take an illegal flight again, she said. So it seems like she's retired. But Steph on here said she could be a secret agent. This is James Bond type shit she's pulling off. And I don't know about you, but yeah, interesting. I just thought that was interesting because that's it reminds me of almost like, have you ever seen the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? Is he and Tom Hanks, Catch Me If You Can?
I've never seen it, actually.
It's actually a pretty good movie.
Never seen it.
It's a pretty good movie, but you've probably seen all the...
I'm thinking like Ocean's 11 type shit.
Yeah,
like
no, that's...
sneaking in and out.
Yep, I think that too. Yeah,
I would love to see reenactments.
If I was doing another Ocean's movie, I would definitely have her in it. I would cast her. If I was George Clooney, I would cast her, and I would have her be the girlfriend of Saul, the older guy.
My God, that guy.
Think about it. Perfect match, right? So, I love the Ocean's movies, by the way. I love their soundtrack, actually, too. That's a whole nother story. We should do an Ocean's review and have Alex on to talk about it, because I'm pretty sure he watched all of them. Question is, has he watched the originals and the new ones? Because I tried to watch the original, and I wasn't nearly as impressed. I'm sorry.
Nah.
You know, it had the Rat Pack in it, but that was about it. I mean, come on, guys. So, I'm going to wrap things up and get to some serious shit I usually do in the beginning of the show. I'm going to do some serious stuff at the end of the show. And I'm going to have Mike pull this up while I talk about it. Mike, look for the clip of Charles Barkley talking about politicians and how they divide us up. It went viral, so it'll be all over the place. And it got me thinking. You know, I was thinking about politics, and I'm not even going to really go on politics, but more so how we treat each other and things that should be, you know, you're just being courteous to each other, and it becomes more of a cultural stance, and then it morphs into politics. And what got me thinking about that was wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. And really, for me personally, if I'm around someone and they want me to wear a mask and I'm not, I'll just wear the mask. I'm not going to be like, no, that's bullshit. You're infringing on my freedom. It's not that deep. It's not that big of a fight. So I'm not going to do that. There's some people that might do that. They might take it that far. And that's when I started thinking, well, what makes people take things that far, right? What makes people go crazy over that? And Charles Barkley started talking about how he thinks politicians' jobs are to divide us up, right? And I 100% believe that. He said, I believe that there's a bunch of great white people and black people and of that nature, you know, And they divide us up. They don't live in our neighborhoods, and they keep us distracted that way. And as Mike finds it, you'll see what I mean. But what got me thinking about it is why do we keep electing these politicians? On either side of the fence, both parties do it, that don't actually do what they want. And when I say what they want, I go by the percentages of what people want within those particular parties, okay? I'm not saying that side is right or that side is wrong, right? I'm not saying any of that. But what I'm trying to say is we spend more time pointing our finger at the other side, if you're in a particular party, than auditing or holding your own party accountable. And what that does is creates a climate where they could come in and be like, hey, I'm the other guy. I'm with you. Fuck those guys. Yeah, fuck them. But guess what? You don't elect people that are really going to do any change. So the only way we can ever get this to change is if we start to audit ourselves and then audit our politicians. Doesn't matter what party you're in. Doesn't matter what you're for. I'm not here to discuss that or criticize that, okay? Give you whatever you're for or against. You know, and we got to get into this mode of voting for people that we really want to vote for. And I used to be like, vote no matter what. And sometimes you may be in that situation. I think more locally, that's more important than federally. But what if we all just didn't vote? And no one showed the fuck up for it? Would that take the power away from them? I argue yes. You say any asshole is going to get in. Seems like any asshole gets in now anyway. So what are you really preventing by doing that? You know, I got to think, but Charles Barkley continues. Did we find that, Mike, or is it being difficult?
This is I can't believe it's a bit. You're asking for the video of his comments of what he said, right? Mm-hmm. I'm having a tough time, and obviously doing this live on air isn't easy because I can't listen to what he's saying.
I just threw this mic on the fly.
Yeah, let me see. I've got a video. I don't know if this is going to be it, but you know what? For the Godfrey, I'm gonna do it live. Fuck it, do it live.
Yeah, why not?
We'll see what this is. It might be it.
You're gonna have like a dick commercial before it or something like that. That's the one.
I can only hope.
I can recognize it. And we'll listen to Porta. Yeah, that's the one. Hopefully, we don't get flagged for it like we did showing maggots with cheese last time.
The people on video are getting the audio, but we are not. So give me 1 second.
That's okay.
We can't hear it for some reason.
But it's okay.
Second. All right, let me fix this. Go ahead, continue.
So, basically Charles is going to talk about, you know, what's going on with politics and all that. And it made me start thinking about like the mask thing, right? That became like a cultural thing where you're not even really worried about it. You're just taking your fucking stance. You know, why? And the reason why I say that is if you look at these politicians, they see these flames and they fan them on both sides of the fence. Whether people are too far over the top about wearing a mask or too far over the top about not wearing a mask. Now, I'm just using this as a specific recent example. And it just, it makes me kind of upset because this is how they keep getting away with stuff, right? I mean, just think about little things like bridges being built and fucking potholes being filled, you know, on like federal highways or railroads being updated. As much money as this country has, and it doesn't seem to happen. And it's because we're not holding our own party accountable. And what I mean by that is when you are a Democrat or a Republican, picking the individuals that represent you in your primaries is more important, in my opinion, than picking the individuals that represent you in the actual election itself. Okay? Because you already know you won't want to vote for the one side most of the time. Or maybe you're open like I am and you might. Here we go.
Oh, wait. Let me go ahead and restart. I got this going. All right. Sorry about that.
So
here we go. Let's see if this is it. Let's see if this is it. And here's what's funny. Now it's not going out to the people.
Wow. So
this is just we're not going to be able to do it.
That's all right. I'll read it to you guys.
I'm sorry.
We'll post it later on. I'm going to paraphrase for you. He said it pretty much. He believes they purposely divide us. And he's right. Because that's what's going on. You know, it's simple things people get upset about. Wearing a mask, not wearing a mask is one, right? the war on Christmas that wasn't a war on Christmas. Cancel culture is a real thing, and it needs to be corrected, but it gets used now to be weaponized, right? And all we do is point the finger at the other side, and the guy that's supposed to be repping us is stealing out of our back pocket while we're looking the other way. And if we don't get to this point where we can hold our own party accountable or people we back, like you could be an independent, we're never going to get people in there that represent us, because the wave of negative influence is going to push back people that honestly want to represent people, because there's just so many of them in there. I would say 99.9% of politicians are dishonest and on the take and are taking money in the form of campaign contributions, which in my opinion is legal bribery. And, especially after 2010, Citizens United, look it up. And that's where we're having a problem sustaining society in our country, and we don't get anything done because we're repeating the same thing over and over again. We're taking no actual steps, and we get caught up in the hysteria, which is part of their division. And I'm not being... If you really step back and think about it, and look at what Charles Barkley said, and if you're into politics, I'm pretty sure you saw it. I have no problem existing with people that have a different opinion than mine, politically, whatever it may be. I could still break bread with them, and I make it a practice of that because they on purpose don't want us to do that. And I feel like COVID has separated us even more, okay? And, part of the spice of life, and especially being an American, is having your views challenged. Maybe you do change your mind because you didn't think about it a different way, and being open-minded enough to do that so solutions can be mutually agreed upon. The problem is everybody now is all or nothing, and they won't make any of these changes because they're like, I'm not jumping over this line. Gun control is one of those issues where I'm a big gun advocate, but I do feel that the process needs reform in some way. But there's a lot of gun guys I know that don't feel that way. They feel like, if you give them an inch, it's not going to change. It won't change anything. And then my answer to those people is, well, I know drunk driving laws, man, they suck. They really don't stop drunk driving. Aha, but there's the rub. They're a deterrent. They're supposed to reduce the incidents. If you could save one life, then it's great. I'm not for a ban at all. I don't think it's possible too many guns in this country. I'm not going to go down that road. Just using that as a specific example. And you have stuff like that on the left as well. You know what I mean? Another thing that I don't know how I feel about it yet, that I see the left going crazy over certain parts of it. And this is where they divide us, because there's people that feel this way that I know that lean left the same way I feel when it comes to girls transitioning to a man and playing girls' sports. Here's my problem. If you want to transition, no problem at all. If that's your choice, I have a relative that's transitioning. That's your choice. Your body, your right, okay? However, in a sport, science backs this up. And men and women are built differently. And why I could say that is, if that wasn't the case, when you want to become a man going to a woman or vice versa, you wouldn't need hormonal pills. You wouldn't need these medications to help you do it. And that's okay if you want to do that. But the physical aspect, the design of the human body, if you're going to tell me, and I've seen this firsthand, that someone should be able to play a sport against females that were a male, I think that's wrong. I just think it is. And when it's something that's a physical sport, that's where I think it's mostly wrong, because you can hurt someone. I remember being on a wrestling team in school, okay? There was a girl that was in the 145-pound weight class, right? Decent-sized girl. She wrestled, and I've seen this happen multiple times, because usually it was an all-female wrestling team. My cousin was a wrestler. That's not the same one I was talking about before, but it's in transition. But she was a wrestler, and she did decent. She wrestled guys. She held her own. But this girl that I saw wrestle got her hip broken, and it wasn't even... They had to carry her off on a stretcher. It wasn't even a thing crazy. It wasn't even slam her down, and the guy was smaller than her. And that's why you don't see females play football, because I don't want to see them to get hurt. It's not a matter of me having a political stance. I'm worried about people's safety and their long-term health. Guys who play football against guys have long-term health issues, professional football players. So at the end of the day, that's another example where I think they go too far and they use it as a division, division thing. And, most female athletes I've talked to are with me on this. For example, if you're the sports where you could probably get away with it is softball, right? Good luck. If you can't really hit a softball and you want to have those female athletes that play softball, that thing flies in there at like 80 miles per hour, and you can't really see the ball because it's underhand. Good luck hitting that ball. I bet you can't. There's probably Major League Baseball players that would have problems with that. Some won't, some will. But my point is, that's not a physical sport where you're hitting each other. But I'll give you an example of real life doing surgery to gain advantage in athletics. You have to be a certain height in sumo wrestling. Did you know that, Mike?
No.
There's guys, and you can look this up, that in sumo wrestling that will inject silicone into the top of their head so they make the height requirement. I don't know if that stopped or they changed it. That's real. And so if you ask me, do I think someone will go that far to cheat in sports? I absolutely do, because we have seen cheating in sports. I absolutely do. Now, am I saying that's the reason behind it if you're transitioning? No. Maybe you're honest, you have a real need to compete, but you have to litigate this on both sides. It can't become a cultural stance of I'm right, I'm left. Because if I'm a father and I have a girl and she gets hurt by a guy playing sports like, I don't know, basketball or on a girl's team, and this individual is transitioning from a man to a girl, I'm going to have a problem because I don't want to put my child in danger. So I do think it's an unfair advantage. I don't have a problem with that person doing that individually. So with that being said, folks, told you I was going to get serious at the end. Thanks for tuning in and having this deep brunch with the Godfrey. Impromptu Saturday. A lot of us had some scheduling issues coming up, and you got some interviews coming up soon with Bleeding Edge, right? Is that coming on at 1?
No. He's pre-recording his interview. It'll still be Bleeding Edge will still be tonight starting at 5 o'clock.
So a little bit of a teaser there. So you're going to have a nice, fresh interview. And thanks for listening in. Thanks for tuning in. And you know where to get it. Check the deets in the description. iTunes, Google Podcast, Twitter. Don't say bastard because Facebook hates that word. And subscribe. Sharing is caring. And this is the Godfrey, not saying goodbye, just saying take it deep.